Disposable effect is an effect that requires certain cleanups. It's side effects that need cleanup after a key change or if the composite leaves the composition, and that's exactly what we need. And we want when the camera content change or actually leave composition, we want to dispose the camera by unbinding all use cases from the camera. That means we will close the camera and will not be using the camera resource. So if the disposable effect key changes, the composable need to dispose, I think is just or the composable need to decompose, do the cleanup for its current effect and reset by calling the effect again. So this is just an example of how it works with a life cycle. We have a disposal effect and the key is lifecycle owner. If this lifecycle owner is changed in any way, we will call this scope. And when it is being disposed, that means lifecycle of home screen composable leaves the composition. That means we will call this on dispose, which at that time at this line just removes the observer. Anyway, so now go back to your home bottom sheet. How can we implement this in our app? So first we're gonna make a disposable effect and the key is gonna be camera provider. We want if the camera provider in any way, and actually it's not gonna be it won't really change unless this camera provider change, and this is just single camera, so we don't really change it a lot. We actually don't change it yet. So I need to make it in the top of this composable, so I will make it and I will initialize it with null value, and it's gonna be camera process camera provider, and of course it's gonna be variable. Since it's null, we need this notation. And in on dispose, when the camera content leave composition, I want to unbind I'm not sure it's always null. Yeah, it's not gonna be always null. So let's see. Which was camera provider unbind all, and we're just here. We remove, close the camera after decomposition, and then just to be clear, I'm just gonna wrap it in let, so gonna make sure that we don't miss anything. So what's the problem here? This one. Yep. All right. So now, if we went down, we have this camera provider. That's not the error. That's the error. SmartCast provider is impossible because camera provider is a local that is being captured. What happened if just I'm gonna say process. Just gonna see this one. It's just the same, right? Can wrap it in try catch exception. So SmartCast, I'm not understanding the error. Camera provider is a local variable that is captured by changing closure. Yes, in this runnable. So what happens if we just edit this line here? Like now it's not changing in this runnable. So that's really weird issue. I will search for this error and come back to you. Alright, so the problem was with the nullability of this object. So since it's null, this compiler hits this error just because it thinks as if it's null. So all we need is just make it net. I'm gonna make it just to make sure it's not nullable, and we will unbind everything. And for the camera provider, we're just gonna post the camera in the deleted scope, and the camera provider is just and now everything should be working as expected. Let's rerun the app. We're disposing the camera on dispose. Alright, so now if we open the camera right now, I'm just gonna clear everything and I will rerun just to make sure that we don't have anything. Yep, nothing is being called, everything is clear. Now I'm just gonna drag, and now after dragging, alright, so let's go to the top and understand the states. First, it is the state opening, then it becomes open. Alright, that's the state so far. If we went to drag it down, what should we expect? We should have the camera closed. We want it to be closed. We don't want to use the resource. And if you're testing on a real device, we are enabling the torch here, so you will find the torch disabled. So now I'm just gonna make it collapse. Now let's see what happened. Now from the state open, it's gonna be closing. It's gonna be closing. Now we're turning from closing to initialize, which in turn become closed. So now when we recalculate the current state of the cameras, now it's being closed. Right, now that's really good. Now if you have tested on real device, you wouldn't really have any torch enabled and you will have your camera closed. And now we are not using the resource of the camera. Now if we open it again, the camera is opening, yes, and it's going to be open. Now, yeah, I'm not going to clear. Now let's say we want to close. Now it's closing and closed. Now we can do everything as you want. Now we have seen the log. Now let's check how can that decomposition work in our layout tree. In our layout, we have this empty box, which represents the bottom state to be expanded, collapsed. I mean, not expanded, collapsed. Right, so I'm just gonna pull it up, and this empty will become camera box. And now the camera box state is gonna be open, and this is exactly what will happen. Now our state is open. Now I'm just gonna close this, drag it up. Now when I drag it way down, the camera box will be decomposed and the empty box will be visible. Now if we open the logcat, you will find that the final state is closed. That's exactly what we expected. So we have reached the behavior that we want to implement. When the camera is being in the tree, in the composition tree, we should use the camera. When it's not in the composition tree, we shouldn't use the camera, and we unbind the use case which releases the use of camera. Right, that was a lot of information. It was a lot of heavy work. You should really be proud of yourself. You have accomplished a lot of stuff. Thank you a lot for watching. See you next time.